Hello everyone and welcome to MK Cyber channel. Today we will be looking at the configuration of two routers. So please if today is your first time of watching my video, please kindly hit on the subscribe button, like and comment in the comment section below. So without wasting much time, let's start. So first of all, we need to select all our devices that we are going to use in the process. So let's display the PCs first. I'm going to use two PCs on each network. So you have network A and network B. Okay, here will be our network B. Let's select our switch. You can select any switch of your choice. And the next device is the router. You can also select any router of your choice. So the next thing we do is to connect the devices together using a cable. So we click here, connections, and select the appropriate networking cable that we have to use to connect the devices. So here we have this one is a straight through copper cable, and this one is a cross over copper cable. You can also select here to automatically select the type of networking cable that you can use to connect the devices together. So automatically, let's use this process. Okay, so with the network B, let's use manual process. So I'm going to use the straight through cable to connect from PC to switch. So before we connect the serial cable to the routers, we have to attach a module. We have to first of all off the router before we can attach any module to the router. So I'm going to attach this type of module, WIC-1T. This is a serial port. I'm going to attach it to the router, then on it again. I'll do the same thing to the other router too. On it before I will connect both routers with the cable. Okay, so we've done with the connections of all the devices with the cable. So we have to assign IP addresses to all the devices on the network. But for us not to find it difficult when we are doing the configuration, with the help of the note here, I will indicate each devices with the specific IP addresses that we have to assign to each devices here. So with the PT0, I will give it an IP address of 192.1.1 as follows. Do the same thing to the router. I'll give it an IP address of 1.3. So this whole network, I will label it as network A, so that when I'm trying to differentiate between the two networks, you will understand. Network A, we have network B here, network B. Alright, so let's continue with the labeling. So with this network, the network B, we are going to use a different IP address. So I'll use a different IP address of 192.168.10.1. The next one as follows. So I have to label the router 2 with an IP address. To change the IP address here to 3. So this IP address will be our default gateway. Remember, this is also another network on its own, so we need to give it an IP address. So I'm going to label the IP address beside it. So I'll give it 10.0.0.1, and here I'll give it okay. So we are done with the labeling of IP addresses to the PCs. So let's assign those IP addresses to the devices. Go to desktop, go to IP configuration, type the IP addresses there. The default gateway here is 192.168.1.3. That's the default gateway. Exit, then do the same on the PC1. So we are going to use this IP address as a default gateway for both PCs here in the network A. But when you get to the network B, the default gateway will change. So we are done assigning IP addresses to the PCs. Let's try to ping the PC to see whether there is a connection between them. So we go to the command prompt. So I'm on a PC 0 trying to ping PC 1 to see whether there's a connection. So type ping okay, so as you can see, there is a connection. There's a response coming from PC 1. Okay, so let's try the other one, then other network. I'm on PC 2 pinging an IP address of 192.168.10.2. okay, we have a response coming here too, so the PCs are well connected. Let's move to the switch routers. So the router, we have two interfaces here. We have to assign this first IP address, that's the default gateway, to the router. Assign these IP addresses to the same router before you continue with the configuration. So when you come to config, select the fast Ethernet 0/0, then you assign an IP address of this address to it. To automatically generate the subnet mask, and please don't forget to turn it on. Then let's move to the serial interface. Let's assign this IP address to it. 10. Turn it on, and let's apply the same process on the other router, on the network B. So for the fast Ethernet 0/0, we are going to assign this IP address to it, which is the default gateway for the PCs. Turn it on. The next step is to assign IP addresses to the serial port. So the serial port, serial interface, I'm going to give it this IP address 10.0.0.2. Turn it on. So now if you take a okay, it's on now, so all the connections are intact now. So for us to be able to send packet from network A to network B, there must be a configuration on the routers. So with the first configuration I am going to do, we are going to perform it on the first router, which is the router 0 on the network A. So go to the config tab, click on the static. So here we are going to type the network ID of the network B, the network ID of the network B here. So the network ID of the network B is 192.168.10.0. Please follow these steps very carefully so that you don't miss any step here. then subnet max is 255.255.0. The next hoop is this address. You're going to use this address, so you're going to use 10.0.0.2. then click on the add. Then you are going to add this address, this network, onto this router again. So you have to change the IP address to, we are going to type the network ID of this addressing. So 10.0.0.0. change the subnet mark, don't forget 255.0.0.0. then leave the next hook as default, type add. Then we are done with the configuration on the router 0. We are done with the configuration of this router. Let's move to the router, the next router. We are going to also apply the same method, the same process. Click on a static, type the network ID of this network, the network A. We are going to use the network ID here. So the network ID of the network A is 192 192.168.1.0. the default subnet max 255.0. the next hoop, we are going to use this IP address 10.0.0.1. 10.0.1. click add, change the IP address again, and add a network ID of this addressing 10.0.0.0. don't forget to change the subnet max 0.0. leave the next hoop and click add. Good. So right now we are done with the configuration of both network. So for us to know whether everything is okay, let's ping from PC0. We are trying to ping this address from PC2. We are pinging it from PC0. So let me expand this. Alright, so let's go to command prompt. I'm on a PC0, this PC. Open the command prompt and type ping. We are pinging this PC, this IP address, if there is a response coming or not. Wait for a while. Okay, the first one might give us an error. You could see we have a successful response. So let's try the other way around too. Let's ping on PC3. Let's try to ping the IP address of PC1. Ping. Okay, we also getting response, a good response here. So from the ping, you could see everything is moving on perfectly. So let's try using the simulation method and see how packets are being transferred from one end to the other. So let me open the simulation tab. Okay, and I'm coming to send a packet from PC0 to PC2 on the other network. So let's see how the process will flow. It's now on the switch. I will forward it a little bit so that it will speed up back to the router 1. Then the PC2 also send a response back to the PC0 that I have received the packet that you sent. Yeah, so let's send another packet. Let's try and send another packet from PC3 to PC1 and see the process and how it flows too. You can see it's in progress. So it is sending back the response to PC3. Okay, so you can see here it's written successful, which means everything is moving, the packets are moving successfully, and for the look of things, everything is successfully configured here. So guys, this is how we configure two routers on a network. So if today is the first time of watching my videos, please kindly subscribe to this channel, like and comment in the comment section below. See you in the next video.